Hey everyone, in today's video I will be sharing with you what art supplies I use. I get a lot of questions asking me what kind of journals I use and a lot of questions about the materials I use in general, so I thought today I would clear all of that up and share with you my collection. Starting off, I'll share with you my art journal. This is my favorite one. It's from currys.com. I'll link it down below if I can find it. I used to buy it from my high school for like $5, so that's kind of why it's been my favorite, but it's also really high quality. The paper is very thick. I use everything from markers to watercolor to acrylic paint. If you use alcohol-based markers like Copics, it will bleed a little bit. But overall, this is my favorite journal and it's the highest quality one I have found. My second go-to sketchbook is the Moleskine sketch album. I like the mini size the best, but they also have a bigger one. It has this super cute little pocket to store things in. The paper quality is a bit shinier and it's harder to paint on and use markers on, but overall it's a really high quality journal. I do use every kind of medium on this sketchbook, but I would recommend it to someone who uses like just pens and pencils mainly. It's also a great journal to take on the go. Next, I have my metallic colored pencils. I find any pencil crayons to be great for doing rough sketches. They are harder to erase, but when you're doing things like watercolor or paint, it doesn't really matter because you'll be painting over it anyways. Any kind of pencil crayon will work just fine. Crayolas are also really great for rough sketches. Next, we have my letter stamps. You can get stamps from pretty much anywhere like the dollar store or Walmart. These ones are from Michael's and they were like only $10. I find stamps to be super versatile and really great for adding quotes. Next we have my Copic markers. These are the cheaper of the Copic markers because they do have a shorter ink lifespan. But the great thing about Copic markers are that you can buy refills for the ink, so they are much more environmentally friendly. Copic markers are very expensive. They are super great quality, they're alcohol based so they blend really well, and the option to refill the colors is a great way to save money in the long run. I would definitely recommend these to someone who is more serious about doing art and really loves markers. I don't really use them as much and I kind of regret purchasing them just because they are super expensive, but overall they're amazing products and I definitely see why they have so much hype. Here we have my trusty paintbrushes. The brand is Simply Simmons and I'm pretty sure they're just from Michael's. They were pretty affordable and they're actually meant for watercolors, but I do use them with acrylics as well. I like the 4 different brush heads and I find them super useful for all kinds of painting. I get asked about my white pen quite a bit. It's just a jelly roll and I find it to be not the best when it comes to white pens, but it does the job most of the time. You can just find this on Amazon. Next we have my Pentel pocket brush pen. If you don't know what a brush pen is, it's kind of between like a paintbrush and a pen. So it has ink in it already and you can use it for calligraphy as well as anything else you want to do. I find it to be super useful and I also like to use it on my stamps. I'm not really that into painting when it comes to like acrylic or oil paints, but when I do use those, I like to use wooden panels because I find them much firmer than just a regular canvas and I like the way the paint applies better. I get mine from the dollar store because if you go to an art store, they can be super duper expensive, and the ones from the dollar store work just as well. This is probably my most used art supply and it is Winsor Newton watercolor palette. This is a small version of it and I find this one useful because it has all the colors I could really need and it's super portable and small. As you can see, I kind of need a new one. Copic Opaque White is my secret to creating awesome watercolor paintings. It's basically just white gouache. As you can see, I'm pretty much out of it. I like to mix it with my watercolor paints to make it more opaque and pastel colored. Next we have ballpoint pens. These are my favorite to sketch with. I like the cheapest ones, like the kind you get for free at the doctor's office. Highlighters are great substitutes for markers, especially these Mildliners because they have like a chiseled tip as well as one that's kind of more shaped like a pen. Overall, they're great for studying and for drawing. Winsor & Newton is my absolute favorite brand for art supplies, and no surprise, I love their acrylic paint as well. I usually just buy the primary colors, so yellow, red, and blue, and mix all the other colors from that. Also, I recommend getting black and white. Art supplies can be very expensive, so if you're on a budget or are just starting out, I definitely recommend this brand called Magicfly, which you can get on Amazon. I'll link them down below. I find their paint to be super high quality, and this starter kit is only like 60 bucks and you get so many different colors. The paint itself is really good quality, and I definitely recommend it for anyone from a beginner to an expert painter. I also love Magicfly's dual tip brush pens. You get 100 different colors, which is crazy. They have like a smaller tip, which is like a pen, and then a brush pen on the other side. These are super great and really high quality for the price. The moral of the story is you don't need to spend a lot of money to make great art. It's more about the skills and your ideas that are going into the project than what you're actually using. Yes, to a certain extent, things like expensive paints and markers can really bring your artwork to a whole other level, but don't feel discouraged if you can't afford to buy the really expensive products that all these other artists are using. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what art supplies you're using, as long as you're having fun, being creative, and expressing yourself. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe to my channel for more artsy videos. Bye guys!